Hey folks, Jonathan here. Plugged this machine up and turned it on. It runs good. Our rough and our fine finish for the lead screw is turning good. There's a lever here to change it from drum to disc, and what this does is when you put it in drum, it lets it feed it in and out, and then I guess you can take this and lock the table and put it in the disc, and that lets it feed it in and out this way. So that we've got another transmission inside of here, and this lever kicks it in and out also. And he told me he was having some trouble with it, so I tell you what, it don't you got to hold up on this lever to get it to travel this way, and then every once in a while when you bring it down, it'll feed this lever, but it's not moving the table. So what we're going to do is take this end apart and see if we can figure out what's wrong with it, and we'll just do this in the right here in the back of the truck because it's nice and bright out, pretty out today. And I'll get these Allen screws out and maybe we can figure out what's wrong with it, and I'll show you more shortly. Okay folks, we got it apart here, got the front off of it, and it don't have much of a gearbox, but it's got a little one. But we figured out our problem. This lever was, the set screw in here was loose on it and letting it be out of adjustment, so we readjusted that and tightened it back up and got it where the drum kicks on and off good. We'd still need to tighten down the gibs on it, but we're going to do that after we clean it up. We don't want to tighten them up while all that dirt and stuff's on them. I learned something here real quick, that this lever kicks in and it actually pushes in a gear, but you have to have this even with the face of the machine and to get it to kick the gear in. And the gear is actually right there. You should be able to see it. So when you line this up, it pushes in, and that's what engages it. And so we got everything, I think, taken care of. We're going to stick it back together here real quick and see if she works. Okay folks, we should know here real quick if it works or not. Just turn it on, and then what we're going to do, we've got the lever in neutral, but of course we want to put it on a cut, whether it be a rough cut or a fine cut. We'll put it on rough cut. Okay, we've got this switched down to disc, as you can see. We don't want it on drum because then it's going to be feeding this way. We've got this to the edge, and well, I say it's to the edge. I hope that's close to where it needs to be. And we'll turn it on here and see if we get this gear moving. If we get this gear moving, then we've got it. Nothing yet. Let's see if I need to move this farther back. I think maybe we got our table or our head too far to the right. We'll have to put it back on drum and then turn it. And we'll try it right there. Take it back on the disc, rough cut, and try it again here. But it looked like it tried. And I can see in there just barely that the teeth are still not touching, so I think we need to keep going that way. So we'll kick it off, put it back on drum, neutral, and go a little farther. And I don't know if there's maybe there's a mark somewhere for setting this up. I'm not sure. And there we have it. So we'll just have to figure out where this is, exactly where it's supposed to be. And once we figure out exactly where it's supposed to be, we'll be able to put a mark on it at least to give us an idea where we put it. And that will operate our in and out travel. And of course you do a rough cut and then you come back and do a fine cut. And I was really impressed, the light even still works on it. Most of these old machines, as long as they're not just totally wore out, you can pick one up, and it's usually simple stuff like this. You know, it costs no money to fix, and you know, they're not a bad machine. This is when this travels down, it's actually even got a stop on it that comes down, and when it hits that button, it shuts it off, and so you don't come bottom it out. Looks like it's going to be a pretty good machine. We'll get it all back together the rest of the way and see what we can do with it. Okay, folks. Everything's back together here. Seems to be working fine. We got an old rotor from out laying on the ground. You can see it's all rusty, and just got it on there, and we're going to see what it looks like, and I think it's pretty good and straight. It's probably straighter than I am with the camera, but you know, we've got it down on disc. We've got our table locked. We got it over against the gear. What I did was go ahead and engage the gear, and I moved the table until it was up against the gear, and then just backed it just a little bit off for a little bit of backlash so it don't run tight. I think that'll get us. Let me turn it on, make sure that everything's going to work here. Yeah, our drive's working. Okay. So what we'll do now is go ahead and get our head on and get our cutters adjusted up and see if we can get it working. Okay, folks, I started to do my feed, and I noticed it wasn't cutting, or wasn't moving, and I worked on it a little bit and figured it out. This gear has got, I noticed I rolled it forward and out, and of course it's supposed to be pinned onto this shaft, and somebody had put evidently a cotter pin in it, and it has sheared the pin. And now I've got the table where it's free, so that wasn't the problem, but I don't know why there was a cotter pin in it. It should have had a roll pin, of course, but not sure how they even got the cotter pin in it. But we're going to pull these two bolts out here and go ahead and see if we can get this gear fixed back to that shaft, and then we're going to try it again. Okay, folks, I wanted to show you what I found here. Here's our gear, and it's threaded. It threads on, and then it should have had a roll pin, I'm sure, but originally there's a roll pin there that's been broke off, and then you've got a another hole drilled. Somebody had drilled and put a cotter pin in, and so we've got two holes near each other here, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but yeah, the cotter pin's wrapped around, so it wasn't strong enough to hold. I'm going to pull that out, maybe knock the other roll pin out, and maybe I can get one back in the hole. We'll give it a try, and I'll show you what we figure out. Okay, here's what we've got. We've got a little tiny roll pin, what's left of a cotter pin. I can get it on camera here. Well, I won't quit sticking to my finger. And then we've got a roll pin we're going to put back in there. And the hole, of course, don't look good at all. But we're going to put it on the original hole and see if we can get it to work. We'll get it back together here. Okay, folks, we got her cutting. Sounds like it's probably got some chatter in it, but we're going to go ahead and finish it off and see what it looks like. Rotor was pretty warped, and tried everything I could to get it even, you know, in there straight, but it's coming in the same way every time, but I'm sure it was the rotor. But I'm on the rough cut now, and we'll see if we can get a fine cut out of it real short. Okay, folks, I had to take off and do a wrecker call and pick up a wreck, and I'm back, and of course it's getting dark on me. I've got it done. I actually done it on rough cut, and it's got some chatter in it. I'm going to move these cutters in closer and try to get some of this chatter out of it and see if we can do a finished cut on it, and should be, you know, it should turn out okay. We'll see what it looks like, and I'll show you shortly. Okay, folks, we've got finished up with it. It does work. It's still got some chatter in it, and it's not as smooth as I'd like. I think a few things. I think I need to move the rotor in some, and possibly you know, turn the cutters. It's got three-sided, they're like triangle cutters on it, and turn them. But I think it'll work out just fine. And mechanically, it's working just like it should. Just not getting a good surface. Piece of advice on the waves: don't put any oil on them. I didn't realize there was going to so many chips on it, and it, you know, the oil's just going to keep them there. So need to just keep them good and dry, I guess. There's brass inserts inside of the carriage there, so that should take up for not oil on them anyway. But it works. That's the good part. We got it rolling, and this side don't look much better. It's pretty rough, and but it's good and straight. And as you can see, we didn't take a lot of thickness off. It's still a good thick rotor. But we'll play with it a little more later, and we're going to call it a night, and we'll get it figured out. Bye.